Before dinosaurs ruled the earth, creatures so bizarre and gigantic roamed the planet that they made even the biggest T-Rex blush. Imagine dragonflies with a wingspan as long as your arm, or millipedes the size of a car. Let's dive into a world millions of years before the Jurassic and uncover the mind-boggling creatures that paved the way for the dinosaur dynasty. We're going to get into all of that and more. So welcome to the Lore Chronicles. Deep within the heart of an unexplored Amazonian rainforest, whispers of an ancient terror have echoed through generations of indigenous tribes. They speak of a place where time seems to bend, a place where the shadows of monstrous creatures from a forgotten age still linger. Dr. Evelyn Carter, a renowned paleontologist, was drawn to this forbidden territory by the tantalizing possibility of discovering remnants of the prehistoric world. Her team, a motley crew of experts, ventured deeper into the jungle, each step a descent into a realm untouched by modern civilization. Then, the disappearances began. First, it was a tracker, then a botanist, and finally the team's communications engineer. The jungle seemed to swallow them whole, leaving behind only eerie silence. As the days turned into nights, strange occurrences began to plague the remaining team members. Shadowy figures moved through the undergrowth, their eyes glowing with an unnatural light. A low, guttural growl echoed through the dense foliage, a sound that chilled the blood. One night, as a violent storm raged, the camp was thrown into chaos. A colossal, shadowy figure emerged from the mist. Its eyes, twin beacons of malevolent intelligence, fixed on Evelyn. As it took a step forward, the ground trembled and the team's tent collapsed. The last thing Evelyn saw before darkness consumed her was the creature's elongated, segmented body and a pair of colossal, menacing mandibles. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away in the heart of the Gobi Desert, a joint military and scientific expedition was on a mission of their own. Their objective? To investigate a series of unexplained energy fluctuations detected by satellite. Deep within a hidden canyon, they stumbled upon something that defied explanation. A massive skeletal structure emerged from the desert sands, its outlines casting an eerie glow in the moonlight. It was unlike anything they had ever seen. As they carefully evacuated the site, they discovered a creature that seemed to defy the laws of time. It was a synapsid, a mammal-like reptile, but of colossal proportions. Its most striking feature was the enormous, cell-like structure on its back. It was a Dimetrodon, but magnified to a size that bordered on the unbelievable. As the team moved closer, the creature's skeletal form seemed to shimmer, as if bathed in an otherworldly light. Suddenly, a low growl echoed through the canyon, and the bones began to move. Flesh and muscle grew rapidly, covering the skeleton in a matter of seconds. The creature roared, a sound that shook the desert, and its eyes opened, glowing with an intelligence that chilled the blood. As the creature stood to its full height, casting a monstrous shadow over the expedition, a chilling realization dawned on them. They were not alone in their discovery. A shadowy figure emerged from the darkness, its form indistinct, but its intent clear. It was a creature from the same realm as the Dimetrodon, a predator on a scale they could scarcely imagine. The stage was set for a confrontation that would shake the foundations of human understanding. As the Dimetrodon faced off against this unknown terror, the fate of the expedition, and perhaps the world, hung in the balance. Now, that is exactly how I'd imagine such an encounter would transpire if an event like that were to occur. I love that we are constantly trying to explore other planets and star systems, but I also believe there is so much more on this planet that hasn't been fully explored. Did you know that researchers discovered a new species of blue ant just as recently as 2022 in a remote village in the Siang Valley of Arunachal Pradesh, India? The ant was found in a tree hole about 10 feet in a steep cattle track in Yongku village. The researchers, entomologists, noticed two insects sparkling in the twilight and used an aspirator to suck them out of the tree debris to preserve them. After examining the insects under a microscope, they determined they were ants, but unlike any they'd ever seen before. The ant is small, only about 2 millimeters long, and is metallic blue in color, except for his antennae, mandible, and legs. The name Nila means blue in many Indian languages. Now, scientists estimate that there are around 8.7 million species of plants and animals on Earth, but only about 1.2 million have been identified and described so far. That's a lot missing that we haven't found. This means that millions of other organisms remain unknown, and scientists estimate that only 10% of all species have been described. Even among mammals, scientists think they've only found 80% of species. And despite this, new species are discovered every year, with some estimates suggesting that around 18,000 new species are discovered annually. Back in 2022, again as an example, new species of plants and animals were discovered, including a rainbow-colored fish in the Maldives. So what does that tell us about this amazing planet of ours? There's much more to discover. All right, enough about ants and rainbow fish. You want to hear about the freaky creatures that were here before dinosaurs, right? Well, I'm here to deliver, player. Let's get into it. Long before dinosaurs stomped the earth, a different kind of terror ruled. Picture a world where the skies were dominated not by birds, but by creatures that would make a modern horror movie seem like a childish tale. Enter Meganura, the prehistoric dragonfly on steroids. With a wingspan stretching up to 2.5 feet, this beast was no mere delicate damselfly. Imagine a shadow blotting out the sun, a terrifying buzzing menace with eyes that could pierce through the canopy. Its jaws designed for catching other insects could just as easily have taken a chunk out of a small animal or human. And then there was Anthropleura, a millipede that could make your skin crawl. At over 8 feet long, this segmented behemoth was a lumbering nightmare. Its countless legs clicked rhythmically against the forest floor as it moved with surprising speed for its size. What did it eat? No one is entirely sure. But with that many legs and that much body mass, it could probably devour anything in its path. These creatures weren't just big. They were symbols of a world gone mad. A time when Earth's atmosphere was a toxic brew, allowing insects to grow to monstrous proportions. It's a terrifying thought, isn't it? That such creatures once walked or flew among us. If you thought insects were terrifying, wait till you meet the amphibians that share their world. These weren't your average frogs or salamanders. No, these were creatures straight out of a fever dream. Take Diplocerapsis, for instance. Imagine an amphibian with a head shaped like a boomerang. What possible advantage could such a bizarre shape offer? We may never know, but one thing's for sure. It would have been a crazy sight to behold. And Diplocerapsis was just the beginning. There were also the massive salamander-like creatures that lurked in the murky depths of ancient swamps. With their eel-like bodies and rows of razor-sharp teeth, these predators were the stuff of nightmares. Then there were the frog-like amphibians that could grow to the size of a small dog. Their tongues as long as their bodies, flicking out with deadly precision to snatch unsuspecting prey. These ancient amphibians were the apex predators of their time. Before the age of dinosaurs, a bizarre cast of creatures roamed the earth, because we've yet to talk about the synapsids, the halfway house between reptiles and mammals. Imagine a world where lizards started to look more like us. These were the synapsids. Some, like Dimetrodon, developed an almost absurd fashion accessory, a giant sail on their backs. Was it for show? To regulate body temperature? Scientists still aren't entirely sure. But Dimetrodon was just the tip of the synapsid iceberg. There were Gorgonopsids, with their fearsome saber-toothed grins and reptilian bodies. And then there were the Anomodons, slow-moving plant eaters with turtle-like shells. It was a time of wild experimentation, a zoological freak show, if you will. Now we can't not talk about what's under the sea. While land was being terrorized by bizarre creatures, the oceans were no less hostile. A world of darkness and pressure was home to some of the most alien life forms ever to exist. Sharks, the ultimate ocean predators, were already well established. But these weren't the sleek, toothy killers we know today. Some sported bizarre adaptations like elongated bodies and rows of teeth that made them look like something out of a horror movie. And let's not forget the bony fish, the ancestors of today's tuna and salamander. But these ancient fish were often armored with bony plates covering their bodies like medieval knights. Imagine diving into a prehistoric ocean. Darkness would surround you, broken only by the eerie glow of bioluminescent creatures. Giant squid-like creatures with eyes the size of dinner plates would loom in the depths. And lurking in the shadows, there might be something even more terrifying. A creature so strange, so alien that we can barely comprehend its existence. I definitely believe there are way more creatures in the darkest depths of our oceans that have yet to be discovered. Unless, of course, they have been discovered, and the powers that be simply don't want you to know. So, which one of these creatures is the creepiest to you? Which one would you like to see in person? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this type of content, be sure to subscribe to our channel and check out this next video YouTube is recommending to you right now. I hope you enjoy it, and we will see you next time.